What's going on, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Man Cave. It is I, Mr. Tone Deaf. I have been away for a couple of weeks. I do apologize. I actually have a company I need to run. All right. Today, I'm actually joined in the cave by my normal cave brethren. I got Jacob in the building. What's going on, dog?
What's good, man? What's happening?
What's good? What's going on, bro? And I also got, because I can't come back by myself. I had to bring my partner in crime, one half of the most dangerous podcast known to mankind, my boy Young Fresh and Fly, the Deaf Fresh Show. What's going on, Juan? Negro.
I'm not here.
You have one job.
Oh, that was for me?
That was for you, bro.
You didn't text me and tell me that I was a part of this.
Bro, I said, when you hear the world's most dangerous podcast, what show am I talking about?
But I'm responsibly irresponsible. I'm not dangerous. But it is kind of dangerous.
Oh, my God. You see what I have to work with, people. This is what I have to work with. All right. So, of course, if you pay close attention in the background, you hear some pretty soft chuckles. That's not normal. Cal did not go get a sex change or anything like that. He ain't sick. We actually joined by three lovely young ladies tonight to go ahead and help us out with this edition of the Man Cave. As Cal, I don't know what the hell Cal doing. I think working, stealing, robbing, making beats. I don't know. He's from New York. Okay, he could be doing anything. But we're going to go ahead and actually kick it off. First, I'm going to introduce one of the newest members of the Breakdown Show with Jacob. If you haven't been listening to the Breakdown lately, you have been depriving yourself of some great commentary going on over there. The Breakdown is actually wrapping up their relationship segments series, their relationship series, where they've been covering everything from breaking up with a relationship all the way up to how to jump back out here in this world. So definitely make sure you go check out the Breakdown. Fantastic piece of work over there. We got Miss Lala in the building. Lala, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. And then, of course, if you've been paying attention to TDR, you know that you've been getting a lot of episodes popping up on your reminder, like damn near 2 or 3 episodes a day from TDR. It's because we're growing. And one of the things that I personally made sure I went out and did was I went out and I reached out to our Black female community, because TDR cannot be what it is without Black girl magic. And I would like to introduce the urban social scientists. Got Miss Renee and Miss Drea in the building. How you ladies doing today?
Doing good.
Good. How's everybody?
What's up, everybody?
We're Black. That's all that matters on this. No, so before we go ahead and we actually dive into today's topic, I want to go ahead and actually do a small little brief interview with you ladies. With you being here new to the network, most people don't know who you ladies are. So let's go ahead and let's start with the basics. How did you two even meet, and what made you guys start doing the podcast?
Nay, do you want to take it over?
Sure. Okay. Well, we just met on Twitter. I don't even know how we ended up in each other's timelines, but I'm glad that we did, because we have a lot of the same stances, and our conversations just became so natural that it was like, hey, let's just do this podcast. And we just jumped into each other's DMs and was like, all right, we're going to do it now.
Facts.
So basically, you started a business by diving in somebody's DMs. You see that, people? Diving in the DMs don't always have to be a bad thing. It don't.
Exactly.
Right.
Just because it doesn't work on the relationship side, maybe try diving in the DMs on some business stuff. You might get a lot further in regard to that. All right. So you guys have your podcast named The Urban Social Scientist.
Yes.
How did you guys come up with that name?
We're both social scientists by majors, industry. So we was like, yo, let's just name our podcast that, because we do a lot of assessing. We do a lot of identifying. We talk about a lot of interesting things in the Black American community. So that's why we decided to come up with that name.
Okay.
Yep.
What are some of your topics and some of the key things that you guys try to focus on in regards to your pod?
Ooh, we talk a lot about white supremacy and dismantling that. We
how
also
to navigate the system
how to
of
navigate
white supremacy, excuse me.
Exactly. We talk a lot about like interracial relationships, the coonery that folks do out here. A lot of different, like we said, Black American topics. We have fun with it, but we also bring the knowledge too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What is one of your favorite episodes you guys have done so far?
Ooh.
See, y'all
talking
to a pro here. So
our last episode, I love the last episode. We talked about toxic masculinity and dispelling the strong Black woman. And we went there, and I know I went there when I was like going in on like how some single moms who's better, they always scream toxic masculinity, but you knew what this type of guy you lay down with. And so I remember going off on that. And then we talked about, because we're Black women, how, a lot of us scream, oh, I don't need no man. And we just dispelled that whole thing, because a lot of times when you're screaming you're a strong Black woman, you deal with a lot of loneliness, mental health issues. So that was my favorite episode.
What about you, Renee?
Let's see. For me, that's a tough one, because I have to, but if I had to pick one, it would probably be one of the earlier episodes we did. It was the survival tools for Black Americans, because I just personally in my own life, I just really want to understand this system that we're in and understand how to navigate it and understand how to attempt to dismantle this, because we are at war right now, whether we want to admit it or not, And when we did that episode, we talked a lot about living in an enemy territory and how to navigate that with minimal contact from police officers.
Interesting. Yep. So, for you guys who want a little different, a little education, a little Black girl magic, definitely make sure you guys go ahead and check out that topic. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to actually dive in the reason why we actually allow women in the cave. Cal is the one who wants the women in the cave. So before y'all start yelling at me saying y'all violating man code, it's Cal's fault. He did this. I was chilling.
Throw him under the bus like that.
Hey, he ain't here, so somebody got to take the fall. All right, so hey, look, I ain't finna get my man card revoked, but yeah, I put too much into this cave to get kicked out of it. No, but real talk though. The reason why the ladies are joining us in the cave tonight is because the particular topic that we're discussing today, we honestly felt that it could not just be a one-sided conversation. The great thing about the fact that we have both USS and the breakdown with us today is it's a topic that both shows have covered in one point in time in regards to their actual show. And it is dealing with insecurities. Tonight, we're actually going to go ahead and cover a couple of different aspects in regards to insecurities. We're going to cover insecurities in regards to relationships, and we're also, this is one thing that I definitely want to deal with, is covering insecurities within ourselves and how we actually handle them. A lot of times, we are very insecure about a lot of different things to the point that we actually lash back at people without them even realizing it because of these insecurities. So we're definitely going to start there. So one of the first things I want to do here is I want to actually go ahead and give ladies the first dibs. Lala, Renee, Dre, I got a question. What are some insecurities that you as women wish that you would actually step up and admit that you guys have these insecurities? So in so many words, what's something that you can clearly tell that women are in denial about, but you just like, hey, just admit that you got this problem?
I can go far as taking accountability, responsibility for when women are wrong in relationships. And why I say that, because a lot of times we like to point the finger at men, hence why we have toxic masculinity, but we also have toxic femininity as well. And a lot of times we feel that when we've been wrong, the dude should have had superpowers and read our mind instead of saying, look, this is what's the deal and this is what's going on. And a lot of times we get our feelings hurt because we're not honest within ourselves and also within relationships.
Okay, let's start right there. Let's stop right there and let's just dive into that one since we bring that one up. Ladies, let's openly admit here. Have you guys ever pointed the fingers at the guy as being the reason for a relationship before you even sat back and says, well, maybe if I would have did this, it wouldn't have went that way?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've done that, yeah.
Do you admit you're wrong afterwards? See, because you two are married. So you can't just walk away from dudes and be like, fuck you, fuck your couch. You got to eventually come back.
Right. I could admit one thing
true.
about that too. One thing I could admit about myself, like being married for 8 years, me and my husband had gotten into an argument the other day, and I just looked at him, and I'm very stubborn. Like, I'm not gonna front, and sometimes I go a little bit too hard, and I think I went hard, and he was like, oh, he walked off, and I was like, yeah, whatever, and I just did not apologize. I didn't apologize because I didn't feel like I should apologize at that moment. Like, I'm being honest. And I was like, okay. He apologized to me, and I said, okay, thank you. And I just went about my life.
So you let him apologize knowing it was your fault?
Wow. It was both our fault because I brought up a situation, and we went at it. And then, like, he was like, oh, whatever, Dre. Then he went off, and I just looked at him like, well, good night. And, and then the next day, he thought about it. He thought about it, and he was like, yo, you know what? You was right in this aspect. And I said, okay. And he said, I'm sorry. And I looked at him like, all right, have a good day at work. I'll see you later.
So you've never told that man you were sorry?
Oh, I don't mind being a bigger person. I told my husband plenty of times, like, I don't say sorry because I'm not a sorry woman. I say I apologize if I, offended you. If I hurt your feelings, yes, definitely. Like, I have no problem doing that. But if it's something that I'm like, no, I came to you because I have a problem with this, and I feel like I wasn't wrong, I'm not going to apologize. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to apologize. But if I felt like I really went there and I hurt his feelings, yes, I will apologize. I have no problem with that.
Okay. Lala?
So I'm driving.
It's cool. It's cool.
So for me, I definitely have insecurities, but I think because like I am a communicator and I expect my other half to be able to effectively communicate as well. I don't place the blame. I can't even, like, I'm thinking back, trying to think of a time that like I placed the blame, and I don't do that.
Okay, so you take. Whenever you guys get into it, you have a conflict or whatever the case may be, you are a kind of person that you'll talk until it's resolved?
Well, see, I don't know, because I don't like conflict, so I really don't like to argue. So I'll let you argue with yourself before, you know what I mean? Like, so I don't know. I mean,
how do you handle situations where the other person is being stubborn then?
I say, I let them know, like, listen, either we're going to talk through this, we're going to work through this. If you need time, if like you don't want to communicate about it right now, I can definitely respect that and give you your space, but we are going to talk about it. Like, we're not going to get over it until we talk about it. So, I'll leave that up to you, but we're going to, we need to talk about this. And I've definitely been in a situation where, like, they were being stubborn. They didn't want to, talk about it. And I'm like, you're the one with the issue, so communicate with me. Tell me how you feel. Like, what is it that I can do? And I think that I've been frustrated because now there's tension, and I don't like conflict. I don't like tension. I don't like going to bed mad and all that kind of stuff. So I've definitely, like, been in the midst of, like, tension, on edge, waiting for this stubborn person to feel like they want to talk about it. And there has been times where, like, they just decided not to talk about it. And, of course, we just leave it under the rug, go about your, whatever.
Now, Jacob, you've been listening. You've heard what the lady said. in regards to their insecurity things and the one Drea bring up. What do you have to say about what's been said?
All I got to say is, y'all can't be right all the time. I mean, no, but it's a, I don't know. We had this communication or this topic kind of in a way on the breakdown, and basically what I was saying is both parties have to see their wrong faults. I personally, I don't know who said it, but I don't really like conflict like that. So I would, 9 times out of 10, me personally, instead of us screaming at each other and fussing and arguing, I walk away. I do come back to the conversation when I've cooled down, but when it's got to that point, it's just going to be us arguing at each other and fussing and screaming, and nothing will be resolved. And so that's just my personal thing. I do believe that both parties can be wrong and admit their wrongs. It will help the situation move along better. That's just me personally.
Okay. Now, Juan, you are the most ignorant of the ignorants when it comes to dealing with insecurities. How do you handle them? How do you handle your mate when she brings up some of her insecurities and her insecurities get sprinkled into the relationship? Like, one of the biggest things that us as men, we get hit with this question all the time. How do I look in this dress?
Mm-hmm.
We know for a fact that dress ain't form fitting on you.
Don't ask me.
Your muffin top is topping. Okay.
I mean, I'm gonna keep it funky with you all the way 100. Like, you want me to be honest with you.
Absolutely.
But you can't be honest with them. If you tell your girl, baby,
it's not what you say, it's how you say it.
Right.
Oh, here we go.
Right.
Don't have me out here.
It's
Don't
the
have me out
approach.
here looking the
Right.
best. If my muffin top is sticking out or whatever, and I'm asking you your honest opinion, don't be a jerk about it, but just be like, "Well, babe, I don't think that's the look you were going for." You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, you could be. You don't have to like, "Dang, girl, your stomach hanging." You know, like, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. But I would definitely want the honest truth.
but when we give you the honest truth, y'all get mad at us and change y'all mind and decide to stay home, and then get mad at us for still going.
I just
But
won't
you
go
have
to
to remember how you're saying it. You know, you don't sit up here and tell your girl, you know, she hadn't worn this dress since 2-3 months, and she puts it on and she gained a little weight. Y'all sitting up there, damn girl. Say that to
Like, you know, you're supposed to, you have to be suave with it. First of all, you have to know your partner, right? So
Right.
you have to know your lady. So you have to know what's going to trigger her, what's not going to trigger her, right? So, you know, somebody who knows me would probably be like, "Well, babe, you know, you're perfect to me, but you know, that's probably not the look that you were going for. I'll be honest with you, you know, but you know, you look good to me." You know what I mean? Like, finesse it a little bit. Don't be like, "Listen, babe, you bought that dress 2 babies ago." Like, this ain't
Dang.
it. You know? Like,
The sad part
You
is,
know.
the sad part is
Tragedy.
that is what I would say, and I have said it before. So the fact,
wrong. That is just wrong.
Wow.
Oh my god.
but it goes back to the previous statement that you made. You have to know your mate, because
Yeah.
sometimes saying it like that hits home harder than was like, "Nah, that's not working for you." See, she's not getting the
Right.
point that her muffin top is topping. She's just thinking this is not a good color, and she go
That's
grab
a good-
another dress that's even tighter.
But that's a good point, Tom. I feel like you have to know your mate. So if you know me, if I know you and you know me, you know if you ask me how you look in this dress, you know a joke is. You know I'm gonna crack a joke if you don't look right. I may not call you. I'm not gonna call you fat because I know that's insensitive, but you know I'm gonna make a joke about it. But I don't want you getting all butthurt when the joke comes because you know me. You like if I put this on, they ain't gonna crack a joke. How about I not wear this and avoid the joke?
But now you're feeding into her insecurity because she might not want that joke cracked. Now, this brings up a good. But this brings up a point. Okay, so let me dive into my own personal thing. Okay, for those of you guys who know me, who actually know me, there's a couple of things about me that you might know right away. One, I have gray hair at a very young age, so I can be mistaken for an old man at times if I let the shit get too wild. Secondly, I had a car accident a few years back that caused a little dental reconstruction, to say the least. So I have a couple of teeth missing. Not something that can't get fixed. Actually, it's not something that ain't stopped me from moving and grooving either way it goes. But sometimes I can be a little bit sensitive about the situation. Okay? These are two of my biggest insecurities. Ironically, fuck boys like one who I hang out with is go-to jokes.
Damn.
Now, hold on. I did. You know what, bro? I apologize for that, bro. You are not a fuck boy. You are a fucker. You are an ass.
I mean, you're just describing his behavior because that is. I mean, that fits the. You know.
It depends on how you look at it. But this is my boy, though. Okay, I tell them all the time when the jokes come from y'all, it doesn't bother me. It doesn't. When it comes from my crew, it doesn't bother me because they know the backstory. When the jokes come from somebody else, it becomes a problem. It becomes an issue. It becomes an insecurity. Okay? I bring that up to move on to the next question is, what are some of your own personal insecurities that can easily be triggered when people bring them up? Let's start with the guys this time. So let's start with you, Juan.
I got a 5-year-old in the background that won't shut up. I think that is a big damper to relationships. And this is not even my kid.
It's not his kid, though.
Not even my kid. I don't even know her.
You will not, sir. You will not deny KK.
That's
okay.
But I mean, I don't really know. I ain't gonna say I don't have any, but I mean, I wear my shit on the table. I mean, like, just look at who I'm related to. Like, I live my life as an open book, so it ain't nothing that I ain't never talked about.
True, but what things used to trigger you before you got there? Because you didn't used to always be this open book, thick-skinned guy.
There's got to be something that.
Like when I was younger, it was that I was fat. Because I've always been a heavy-set dude, like even since a kid, and that shit used to bother me. Like just always being the biggest nigga in the room type shit.
The sad part is you still the biggest nigga in the room, no matter where we go.
But I embrace it. Chicks dig fat niggas now, and I beat the shit out of it.
Yeah, we in there, dog.
That's what I'm saying. This is because fat niggas is in. Skinny niggas don't do too much for these women anymore.
Absolutely. Big men are in.
Like that's the big help. Like I'm a big nigga. Like I used to be skinny. I purposefully gained weight because I'm in. So, for real. But no. So Jacob, on to you. What is some insecurities that used to trigger you? It might not trigger you anymore, but what were some of the biggest insecurities that used to get to you?
Shoot, I'm with Fresh. Being a big dude, especially in high school, ooh, we was not in back then.
No, I swear to God,
bruh,
I thought I was going to die virgin. I thought I was going to die virgin. I swear. It's not even a joke.
Until I started playing football. Now, when I started playing football, it became a quote unquote job. I was in.
Yeah, because you the biggest nigga on the field. This is not a
I
fat
was
joke, but
not
yeah.
the biggest dude on the field. You know what? What you not gonna do tonight?
No, I just said this wasn't a fat joke. It was like, dog, no, real talk. Growing up,
No, but yeah, you right. We was, I mean, especially
We're talking
when
about as
I
grown
think,
men, though. Like now.
I think, like now, I don't
Like
have
now.
a problem much with that. You know what? I'm gonna be honest with you. I personally hate the sound of my voice. I don't know what that's about, but I don't know. I don't know if you remember this. That too. I listen to myself back when I'm doing the breakdown or I'm on the man cave. I be like, ugh.
So if your lady says, "I don't like the sound of your voice," that's a trigger for you? Because I think what the question is in a relationship, what is the insecurity of yours that like basically what could your lady what would be a low blow for your lady to take that would trigger you?
Right.
Honestly,
right. Am I understanding the question right?
You are understanding the correct. You know, men don't comprehend shit right the first time, so I'm glad
I mean, and I just want to say this is why women are typically right. But
you know what you're not gonna do here.
We not finna do that in the man cave.
I just want to say,
I'm gonna shut it all down.
No, but I mean, honestly, I still deal with that. I'm smaller than I was because I've been working out, walking a lot. I do a lot of walking and stuff, and working the field that I'm in. I have to move around a lot. And so that helps a whole lot, counting steps and stuff like that nowadays. Because, yeah, I still have a problem every once in a while. Somebody say something about my size. I feel it. It's a personal thing, but it's getting better than it was. Because it used to be real bad with me. But I'm better, and I'm still, I don't know, until things definitely change. I think people always deal with it. The insecurities of back in the day, depending on what it is.
Well, for men, yeah. But for us men, usually our insecurities are always our insecurities. Mine's are like newly surfacing insecurities. So they wasn't the same problems I had back when I was younger. And a lot of men's insecurities do stem from more of a physical aspect. Now, you do have a few of those who it's a financial situation where the minute that they don't have the financial status that they used to, or we fall into this category where our woman is the breadwinner, that's a real big insecurity for men. Like, not saying it's right, because hell, my wife is a nurse. Okay? That's the equivalent of my woman having 2 jobs. So I gladly tell everybody my wife is a nurse. But the fact that if I'm sitting here trying to get certain bills, if it was a dating phase, let's put it like that. If it was a marriage phase, completely different rule. If it was a dating phase and she was a nurse, that would kind of play an issue on my psyche. Because as men, we're raised, if we're properly raised, we're raised to believe that the man is the head of the household. Financially, he's supposed to take care of everything. He's supposed to be the breadwinner. The woman controls where the money goes and how the household itself is managed. Even though this day and age, the roles are reversed and whatnot, or equal across the page, depending on how you want to look at it. Because I've heard damn near all 3 of those. I've heard all 3 of those.
I must admit that's a part of it too. Because remember, y'all in the man cave come at me all the time about me getting back out there and dating and this and that. That's a part of it because, and I talked about this on the breakdown and the man cave, like, I haven't worked in years. There's a personal reason why I haven't, but at the same time, it's like
correction.
jumping.
Jacob. I I never told you to date. I told you to fuck these hoes. Never told you to date.
Lord.
He did.
You don't have to. You don't have to have no money.
Here he goes.
Because you don't.
I'm not that type of guy, though.
You don't have to have no money.
I can't just jump out there and be, let's do this.
Date is fucking for bags of weed, bro. You don't have to have no money.
Oh my god.
The sad part is he's telling the truth, though.
Don't you oh my god me because you know it's true. It's always a chick trying to fuck the weed man. I want to be a weed
you
man
fresh as phone. You fresh.
Because it was free pussy on deck. I was like, man, I could sell nickel bag. I ain't even got to be no big time drug dealer. That's how bad they going. But
wow.
I chose to go.
But that's a different type of. Those are not women.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're not. Yeah. We're not talking about women that you date. We're talking about dating fresh. That's not anybody that you can to date. That's just somebody that you smash.
That's my whole point. I never told Jacob to get out here and date. I just said fuck these bitches. Fuck these bitches.
But he's talking about dating though.
Exactly.
We're talking about dating. We're talking about
not smashing somebody.
Right. You have to remember that Fresh is the youngest, right?
I can't.
Fresh is 30.
Yeah,
I don't know if you're young.
I'm 30.
Young Ghana.
Oh, you don't got time for that.
He's 30, but we got to remember that we're talking about the males here. So he's really like
Wait,
25.
hold on. What you trying to say? What you saying?
Because guys mature. Guys mature a little slower than females.
Yeah.
And listen, guys take that. Hold up, listen. Guys take that and they take it offensively. But listen, you have to understand that women naturally, we are created to nurture and be logical thinkers, and that we were just created that way. It's not that we're trying to take a jab at men or anything like that. You have to remember, God created Eve to be everything that a man could not be. You know what I'm saying? So.
And Eve cheated. So
let me mute myself. Let me not
preach to y'all since we're in the man cave. I'll save this.
Right.
I'll save this for the breakdown.
Take that to breakdown. Y'all go record that on Thursday. We don't need to hear
what I'm saying. All I'm saying is he talked to the snake and the snake got Eve. Okay, I'm sorry. My bad. Go ahead.
Listen, but let me tell you something, because you know how I feel about that. You know how I feel about that, Jacob. It's Adam, okay? Adam's pimp hand wasn't strong, okay? Because Eve should have known better than to go over there and touch that fruit after she was, you know what I'm saying? So that's Adam.
Okay.
Adam did not control.
Let's keep it 100 here. Let's keep it 100 here.
We don't mix religion in podcasts.
We do. How the hell are you going? How are you going to sit there and say we don't mix religion and podcast? And we just said we wonder if niggas can get a job in heaven's HR.
That's different. That's different. I'm not preaching.
How is it different?
Because I'm not preaching to you. I'm just asking you.
Oh, I wasn't preaching religion though. I was stating
right. See, it doesn't matter. You got it from a book that's been rewrote like 75 million times. So is it really a fact? We don't know that yet.
I was just making a reference. It really wasn't about religion.
Juan is not taking this serious. Do not believe that he is in his chest.
So what we were saying. So basically, what I was saying is just that men, they mature a little, slower than females. So but yeah. Anyway,
I'm still mad you question Adam's pimp hand.
I know, right?
I'm just saying, I don't want to upset Fresh or anything like that.
Though?
I'm just saying, it could have been.
No, could it really be strong?
It can't be because he don't know. Well, it all depends on whether or not.
He should have had that under control. He should have been, you know what I'm saying?
No, you see, here's the difference. Here's the problem with Adam's pimp hand. He had dominion over everything on this earth, right? But God came by and he made somebody that's equal to him. He don't know what equal is. He don't know how to handle equal. And then, even if let's just say Lilith was a true thing. So Lilith got removed out the question. She fucked Adam's head up. Okay? He didn't know how to handle that. This woman was too strong for him that God had to say, hold up, Adam. You ain't ready for this kind of pussy I made over here. Let me make you a whole new woman.
I think this is a whole nother show. I think
this is a whole nother show. Let's move back to where like
yeah, because I have a whole.
Because we ignorant.
It's a whole nother show.
It's
a whole nother show.
I'm gonna cut that out anyway.
Okay.
All right, but get back anyway. But okay, so guys, we've kind of told what some of our insecurities are. I'm gonna ask the women. What are some of y'all insecurities that if y'all man went there, it would trigger y'all? Because the women got a lot of them. Let's be realistic here.
I think for me, and I can say this, like definitely with my last relationship, my daughter's father. For me, it is for you to use something from my past against me, like for you to bring up stuff like from the past, and just be insensitive about it. I think for me, that's a trigger for me. Like, I don't like to argue, I don't like to yell, I don't like to fuss, I don't like to fight. However, if you do that to me, you will see a whole nother side of me. Absolutely. So I think that's mine.
Okay. Renee?
For me, I would have to say, well, before my husband, I dated a so-called man. He was an individual with a penis. He was an individual with a penis. But
that's how you feel?
I'm glad to clarify that.
Harsh.
Did you call him a transgender?
Be on mute. My bad.
No, I mean, he was just an individual with a penis. But
they disrespecting the LBGTQ.
He's definitely a Q. Very questionable.
Q stand for?
I don't know, bro. I've heard like 5 different things. But
it's not that many words in the English language that start with a Q.
The LG A through Z. But anyway.
Wait.
Let her continue.
Please let her finish.
Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
And so, I'm telling y'all that this dude was a bum. Like, BUM, just bummy. I mean, he had me. I did everything for him. I took care of this dude. I did everything for him. But he sitting up here and he's talking with these big, fat, 400-pound women on the internet. I don't...
Wow.
No, I'm serious. And I was just being used, And so, like, if I feel like I'm being used by a partner, like I can remove myself from it emotionally before I do physically. So, like, once I'm turned off from you, it's really nothing you can do. And so, my insecurity has a lot to do with my trust issues.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you trying to use the sister? Okay, I got
okay. It. I'm glad you. We gonna come back to that one later. All right, Dre. What about you? Your last one.
I would definitely say my insecurity will be I do not like someone not holding the end of the bargain, and if I have to like do your part and my part, and you throw in my face, but I pay the bills and I do this, and it's like that's still not good enough. So I don't like when it's a one-sided thing, when it's a one-sided relationship. That's a big insecurity for me because before my husband, I was single at one point, but when I was with my ex-fiance in grad school, it was just pretty much I was left out there to dry. I was pretty much like handling my stuff in grad school, which is, getting a master's and PhDs. That's you have to be focused on your studies. And then, then I was worried about, okay, what is he doing? Because we had a long distance relationship and I'm doing all the work and you're not coming, you're not meeting me halfway and you have your own insecurities and you trying to project it onto me. So I would say that's a big insecurity of mine, is like trying to project your insecurities onto me and you're not, being a man enough to be like, just take the L in some areas instead of me taking the L's all the time.
Okay. All right. I can definitely relate in regards to both of those, in regards to trust issues, as well as basically carrying the whole load, Juan, instead of being done equally, Juan. So I completely understand in every regard to this.
Hey, first of all, what you not gonna do is what you doing now. Okay.
What are you talking about, bro? I'm just talking about, insecurities and trust, and finding, the right person to help you carry the load. Not Juan, but
first of all, because I'm not going to help you.
No, Juan, he was just making sure that you was listening. That's all.
Right.
I was giving you your cue. I was giving you your cue to prepare you for when it's for your turn to come back into the conversation. That's
oh my gosh! Whoa!
What he was doing.
There he is.
Making me sound like I'm a bad business partner.
Did I say anything about business?
Whoa!
Word business.
So you calling me a bad friend?
You caught that, Cal?
Huh?
I said, did you catch that?
I caught that. I definitely caught that. I'm sorry. I'm late to the station. I just had some family issues I was dealing with.
That's okay, bro.
Okay. I'm sorry, bro.
So we talking about insecurities here, Kyle, and we're sharing some of our insecurities, terrible friends, and stuff like that, and whatnot.
Okay.
So,
okay.
So the ladies and the guys have all expressed to the listeners what some of our insecurities are. What are some of your insecurities that you personally have had to kind of live through?
What's some of my insecurities?
Yeah, bro.
Let me see, because the list is so short, because I'm just that dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just don't really feel like anything about me needs to... Yo, you know what it is, Jay? Yo, Gator, you know what it is? As I was talking, I felt the steam from the women just boiling. I felt the steam like, this ignorant ass motherfucker. He's so damn cocky. How the hell he gonna be? First of all, his ass was late, and then he gonna come in here talking about he that nigga. Who the fuck is? I felt it.
I already know who you are. I already know who you are. So. I was
see what I'm saying?
See, Cal, while you were away, we got, of course, the ladies of the urban social scientists in the building with us. And, of course, we got Miss Lala in the building with us.
You already? Okay.
You already know with that.
Already know. Okay.
And, of course, all the men of the Man Cave are in here tonight.
The cave's in the building.
Yes, and contrary to popular belief, people, Juan is not a horrible friend. He's actually a fantastic friend. And for all you single women out there who are into plus-size guys who happens to be over the age of 30 and maybe have your own place, my guy is definitely single and ready to mingle this summer. So go ahead and shoot y'all shots, because he definitely will. So
he gonna shoot the shot. He gonna dunk that shit. He gonna dunk that shit. He gonna Shaquille O'Neal it. He gonna break the rim on that ass.
But let's get back to the topic at hand.
Okay, I'm sorry.
What are your insecurities, my guy?
Some of my insecurities, I ain't gonna lie. Like, I developed, because of some messed up relationships. Like, I did develop some trust issues. You know what I'm saying? So, like, yeah, I developed some trust issues, along the way. I dealt with them. They're not as bad as they used to be. I mean, back in the day, because of messed up shit, I might have been that guy at the club waiting outside in the car like, oh, word, you think you gonna play me? Okay, all right. I might have been that guy back in the day, because disrespect I just don't like. You know what I mean? But I dealt with them. But I say that to say, some of my insecurities, on being real, I'm stop joking. But being real, I still to this day, I still deal with certain trust issues or whatever that, can be, that created certain insecurities or whatever, from women that say one thing, do another, or, when I see certain red flags or whatever, it kind of like draw me back to certain situations, and I have to like, pause for a second, take a step back and look at the situation as it currently is and not what it was in the past, and, kind of check myself to be like, all right, well, Let's look at it from a whole. So I say trust. I got certain insecurities in trust. That's one. I'll be honest, I really don't have too many insecurities. Trust is definitely one of them. I kind of think that's really my biggest one.
All right, can you shut up so I can move on then?
Yeah, go ahead, bro. I'm sorry. I was trying to really. I'm late, so I'm playing catch up. Yeah, my bad. Go ahead, brother.
Just shut up. We'll do the rest. Just shut up. We'll do the rest. All right.
Wow.
No, I'm kind of glad that you did point on that because the ladies have also said that trust is definitely a big one for them as well.
Mm-hmm.
Let's start with you, Cal, since you late.
Okay.
What were some of the things? This is a question for everybody. What were some of the things that you guys have done to have to overcome some of your trust issues? Because I know for a fact, we as humans have the natural habit of bringing our past problems into our new relationships. We have a guy who tend to go out to the club a lot, and we come to find out, well, ladies, you might have a guy that go out a lot, that they were not always at the club, but they were rendezvousing with somebody else instead of where they said they was. Or we have people who spend money when they clearly supposed to be saving it and been telling you they saving it until the phone bill come due, and then all of a sudden, you know, buy the phone off, you know, stuff like that. So how do you guys handle, or how do you guys get over some of these hard trust issues you have when you're going into your new relationship? And for the ones that are married, how did you kind of express these trust issues to your mate? So let's start with you, Cal.
The first thing I did is because I'm in a new relationship, new committed relationship. Been in a relationship for about a year now, and she's wonderful. She's definitely wonderful. So coming into it after divorce, because I've been divorced for officially divorced for 2 years, over 2 years. We haven't been together for over 4 years. But, you have to do the separation thing first and not live together for a certain time. And then, it's a whole process with divorce. Like, you could just jump and get married, but you just can't jump and get divorced. Shit is crazy.
Exactly.
Or whatever.
Yep.
Like, I submitted my divorce papers. They was like, well, how long you been separated? What you talking about? Oh, you got to be separated for over a year before you... What? Yeah, it was a whole... So we had to do that. It's a whole process. But I say all that to say the woman I'm with now is, wonderful. So... coming into it, I really had to evaluate myself and where I stood and, what I went through. And so the first thing I did on our first couple of days, first thing I did is I put everything out there. I put everything out there from the beginning. You know what I'm saying? So she know what it is. It's no doubt for her. And in return, she put everything out there for me in the beginning. So we actually helped each other. And she didn't realize how much she helped me. She know now, but she didn't realize how much she helped me doing that, putting everything out there from the beginning, because it actually helped me to bring my wall down a little bit and be okay, I can trust her. I can see myself trusting her, because she didn't have to tell me this right now. She could have waited to tell me this, but she told me right there and then, what her situation was. So I say the first thing I did, I put everything out there. We didn't hide nothing from the beginning. That was the first thing I did, which actually helped me. Second thing I did is I don't look at no situation that we go through with any thoughts of my past relationship. I look at it as what it is. I don't bring nothing of my past into what we're doing, because as you learn from experience, when you do that, you're bringing in your past situation into a new situation, and you're kind of tarnishing the new situation when it has nothing to do with the past. It's like, why are you judging this woman off of what she did because the last woman did that and she had other motives? They two different people. I can't do that. It's not fair to her. So that's another thing I do. Whatever we go through, I don't look at it from what the past woman did and why she did it. I sit down and talk to my woman and okay, well, why did you do that? Or what's this or what's that? We talk about it as what it is that we're going through, not anything in the past. So that's another thing that I do.
All right, that's it, bruh.
I got a few of them,
here.
brother. I got a few of them, brother. You know what I'm saying? I done gone through some shit. No, God damn it. I'm gonna write a book. I keep telling you, Tone, I'm gonna write a book. It's gonna be a movie. It's coming out the Tone Deaf Network.
Look, I already put the publicist information in the group. If you don't utilize it, that's your own damn fault. But shut up so we can let the guests actually speak. There's, you know what I'm saying?
Okay, I'm sorry, ladies. I'm sorry. Go ahead, talk.
Damn.
Who's next?
You know what? Let's just move to the ladies because Kyle spoke for all the men.
He took all my time.
Did y'all miss me?
So, Lala, let's start with you. The last relationship you brought up earlier was with your child's father. Now, I know that's a difficult thing to walk away from for some people because there's a kid involved here. So even though you don't want to be with that person anymore, you still kind of got to deal with that person because of the kid. How did you handle moving on to a new relationship knowing that you're still connected to your last true relationship?
Okay, so I'm not still connected to my daughter's father. Let me just say that because
excuse me, I'm just
in
saying.
all honesty, I was.
Oh shit! Let me shoot my shot.
Women, we leave mentally, we leave mentally first before we physically leave. So, in all honesty, I mean, I leave for myself. Let me not say women because I just don't speak for myself. But the relationship was dead to me a year before I left. You know.
Wow.
And I only stayed that additional year because I really wanted to try to make things work for my daughter. You know what I mean? I wanted my daughter to have both of her parents. This is supposed to be the man that I'm marrying, you know. So I stayed, for the sake of my daughter. However, once I realized that this is not healthy for my child, you know, this is a toxic situation and she deserves to have a happy mom, a happy father, you know, not coming up, you know, with all of the tension and everything. I just, one day I was just like, I left. Now, moving on since then, I'm laughing because I haven't had like an official relationship since then. I did have what we call in the breakdown a bae friend.
Okay.
For like
you got a situation.
So you had a bae that was not bae.
Situation.
Yeah, it was a situationship, but in the breakdown we call it a bae friend.
Situationship. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, because and I think like the main thing for it is because so September 3rd it'll be 3 years that we haven't been together, and I've just been taking this time to like really find myself, really allow myself to face myself and be accountable for, you know, yes, he did this and he did this and he's the cause of the relationship failing. However, what did I do that I could have avoided our relationship altogether, or, you know, whatever. And there were definitely red flags and there's definitely things that I had to hold myself accountable for. So I've been taking that time for that. And then also I'm not ready to introduce anybody to my daughter. So my bae friend, we were seeing each other for about a year and some change. And you know, he's never met my child. And so I think that I kept him as a bae friend, you know, because I wasn't ready to go to that next step as far as introducing somebody to my child. So I haven't like officially moved on in a relationship, you know, as far as like having an official relationship, you know, like anything like that. But so I don't know. I mean, mainly this time I've just been, like I said, finding myself, holding myself accountable so that I make better decisions down the line. But I'm definitely not connected to him. I'm not one of those, you know, children's mother that's like, oh, you know, this is my baby's dad. No, absolutely not. When I left, I haven't looked back. I haven't touched that man. I haven't thought about him. I have no connection to him whatsoever. My daughter just turned 5 on Monday. She calls him from a private number in the morning on her way to school. She talks to him. She calls him in the evening, and he has my email address when, you know, there's visitation and stuff. Like, she just went to see him for her birthday, but I don't have any communication or no connection to him.
Right. Wow, that's real. I mean, I definitely hear that. And I mean, I feel you as far as like introducing, people to your, to your child. You definitely got to be selective with that. I mean, it took me 3 years before I introduced anybody to my daughters, and that's, the woman I'm with now. But like for 3 years, nobody was meeting them at all. So yeah, you got to be selective with that. Yeah, it really is. But you said something. I just want to add. You said something.
No,
that,
Cal.
What? Okay.
We have company, bro. You can't focus on one person. Okay.
I wasn't going to do that. I was going to ask her a question.
You know,
go to the next
no.
No.
You can talk to Lala anytime. You know where to find her at Thursday nights.
All right, Big Brother Tone. I'm sorry, bro.
All right, so the ladies of us. Shit, dealing with this nigga, I done forgot what the original question was now.
Yeah.
Have y'all been paying attention?
Yeah, you said how being that, I had a child involved and so we were still connected, how did I move on with that, having that connection?
All right. So you ladies are married.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I know because definitely Renee said she dated a penis with legs.
God damn.
Hey man, you missed the first half of the show. It's pretty epic.
First 30 minutes.
Okay, so for both you ladies, how did you literally get over your trust issues with the previous people to sit down and say to the men that you guys are with now, whatever the fuck happens, we gonna ride this out together?
I can go first. So I've been knowing my husband for 22 years. So my husband and I, we pretty much grew up together. We worked our first jobs together in Boston.
Oh, you don't count, Dan. He cheating.
Yeah, no, he counts because like we had puppy love. Then we broke up. I came down to Alabama for school. He stayed in Massachusetts for school. So we dated other people, got engaged to other people. So my relationship before him, my ex-fiance, we was together for 3.5 years. And when we broke up, he got married 6 months later. And on top of that, getting married 6 months later, I was also playing like stepmom to his son at the time. And so, doing a lot of co-parenting. Mind you, I'm like in my 20s. And like I said, I'm in graduate school, trying to balance all that. And like trying to balance like, oh, did you go see your son? All this other shit. So when we broke up, I had to really like, I'm definitely upset. I'm angry, all type of, emotions. And I remember emailing his wife. I emailed his wife, was like, yo, you in for a rude awakening because I've been in a picture for, 3.5 years. All of a sudden, quote unquote, you get married to this dude 6 months later after we break up. So, I did that. I was like, okay, but I need to go deeper. So I have to really throw myself into therapy. Before I could prepare myself and really get healed to, enter into another relationship. Because I didn't want that baggage from my ex-fiance to really seep into like a new, relationship that I was going to get into. So at the time, my now husband, like he, knew all what was going on because we was best friends at the time. So I'm like, yo, this is what's going on. I didn't really want to marry my husband at that time. I was like, I don't want to get married to you. I'm just in this, I'm just trying to chill and just get my life in order. So, like once I got the healing process and did a lot of journaling, just got it out my system. Then like years later, we end up getting married. But I don't think people should jump into a relationship because a lot of times you always going to have that baggage. Like my ex-fiance now, like we're still cool. Like he friend requested me on Facebook, but I'm like the one who got away because everything I post, he likes. And I'm like, you need to be showing that. You need to be sharing that with your wife. So, right. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I don't have no regrets with that. Like, I'm glad that I threw myself into therapy. I found who I was because I didn't want to waste my 20s on someone and wish I had my husband, waiting in the wind. And like my husband treats me very good. You know what I'm saying? He knew what I went through and he had his own baggage. He had to work out. So, we have that good understanding. But sometimes, like it was up to like 2 years ago. I'm like, okay, we're in like a flow of our marriage. So I'm like, yo, are you going to up and leave me and be out and go with some other chick? Like I always had like that part of insecurity about myself. Like, oh, if I say
Right.
this one thing, if I do this one thing, he might up and bounce on me and go with
Right.
someone else. So, like we worked that out. I'm still working through it. Like I'm imperfect, still working through that. And I mean, like I said, we're in a good flow. 8 years later, we still married. We still,
Nice.
working through stuff. So, like I'm just happy that I'm with a person who really is working with me and have patience.
Right.
That's the key thing that helps me with my trust issues. So yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so she used up all the women's time with that particular answer. So I'm gonna have to sit down and just let Drea and Cal just do a whole show by themselves because neither one of these
set it
know
up.
how to stay. Neither one of them know how to stay within their time constraints.
Well, you know what? We can always start back. His and hers or whatever. And,
I mean, you can go. If they want to do that, y'all can do that because we've already drafted Ashley over here. My bad, Renee over here to Urban Retcon Squad. So
okay, so Drea, I'm gonna contact you. You can hit me up, and we gonna do this show, his and hers, or whatever, and if we might keep that name, we'll build on that. But we gonna do something there because we need to talk. You in a relationship, you're married, I'm in a relationship, divorce, new relationship. We can actually do some therapy. For these people in relationships that got baggage and went through things. And you know what, Tone? It's going to be called couples therapy. That's what we're going to name it. What you think, Drea?
I feel that. I'm definitely down. For real, I'm down.
Tone, couples therapy, Cal and Drea.
So let me get this straight. What just happened here on the Man Cave was not only just introduced a brand new pod to the network, but we on air split up the tag team and rebranded them on 2 different shows now.
Wow.
So
tragedy.
Like we really did just split up a tag team and redraft them. Just saying. But that's life.
It is.
That's what happens when you work with us. So we're going to go ahead and wrap up this evening show right here. I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in to this edition of the Man Cave. This was a pretty interesting conversation. We are definitely going to go ahead and finish this with part 2 next week. So make sure you check us out on all streaming platforms. That's Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Google Play, Spreaker, or wherever else you listen to your podcast at. With that being said, I'd like to thank the guests for joining us this week. They most definitely will be back next week. And also go ahead and check out some of the shows we have here on Tone Deaf Radio, such as The Urban Social Scientist, Adventures of the Black Nurse, The Deaf Fresh Show, Hostly Awkward, Real Bar Talk, and of course my show, The Deaf Fresh Show, and The Breakdown. With that being said, we're out, people.